Hey there, and welcome back to Scrap with Penny. I have something new in store for you today, and I have always heard about the sketch challenges from A Cherry on Top, and I've never participated in them. So I'm going to pop inside the screen right now the sketch. It's a very simple sketch. It's a band and then two blocks, and I figured out the math on it, and the band is 4 inches wide, and the bottom section is 7 3/4 by 8, and then the top square is 4 1/4 by 8. And I thought when I saw that it was 2 photos that it would be the perfect layout for this special photo that we had made in April of this year. So in April, well, it was May 2005, we took the boys to Walt Disney World for the first time. And so when we went back to Flower and Garden in April of 2025, because no one's in school, we don't have to wait for school to get out, it kind of marked in my heart the 20th anniversary of our trips to Disney. And we were so fortunate that 2 of our 4 kids could join us. So it was still a party of 4. It's really hard for the 6 of us to get there together. And I just, take what I can get when I can get it. And I love the Flower and Garden Festival. My husband, Epcot is his favorite park. I only really like to go to Epcot during the festivals, and the Flower and Garden is my favorite because of the beautiful topiaries. And in fact, this photo right here is the little Groot topiary, and he's newish, and it's over by Guardians of the Galaxy. So none of these are in the World Showcase, and the pictures are going to go on my layout like this. I will say that Lisa at Life and Layouts is who introduced me to Kellybell with her March Madness series. Nicole Colley told me about her, and I was like, well, let me get over there to check out Disney Stat. And it's been kind of life-changing for me. It's reinvigorated my Disney storytelling, and it's also been a lot of fun to plan. And so here we are, printed out my paper, and from the other video that this is going to be my background, and then this is going to be my long vertical band, and then I'm going to do my Spaceship Earth and my yellow here and here respectively, and I'm going to run this pink stripe where this paper butts up against these two. Okay, so what I'll do next is trim this up, and I shared on the screen that rather than waste this piece of paper, I brought the yellow in here, and I'll just gut this as if it were a regular piece of paper. It'll tape down onto this dummy piece of cardstock, and then I'll trim this, and this to work. Oh, and the little green, the little green leaves I printed for photo mats. I just thought that would be a really fun nod. I think it's cute. Maybe you won't get it, maybe you will, but just lean into the stuff sometimes. So here are the rough cuts. I don't have them trimmed precisely, and nothing is taped down, but this is the look, and I can drop my photos on here. Oh, it drives me crazy when everything moves a little bit. And now I can bring in my little elements I had cut for my embellishments. And this is where, to me, the fun really starts. I was thinking while I was cutting the paper that this is almost like having a fairy godmother give you your scrapbook supplies. And all of this will go up on foam. This kit that I'm using is the Flower Festival mini kit, and if you watch the other part, you know that it came with 5 pieces of paper. But I will say, I've got more than one Epcot kit, and so this paper and this paper actually came from other kits. And in the video description, I'll drop the names of those. I don't have them committed to memory you know, we cut that to go right up there. And I wanted to say that if you didn't have a 12 by 12 or a wide format printer, and I realize a lot of you don't, then you could still, you wouldn't be able to do this stripe background, but you could piece this together over here and kind of do that and hide your scene. I had this going right here. I don't want Groot covered up, so I need to scoot that over a little bit. And I had this little pink flower and garden coming like out of that. And I shared how I like the Color Me Happy because this was a big trip. I had cut this and I had printed this because the sketch calls for a little bump out element on each side, and I wasn't sure if I could get away with doing that. I had said I would do my journaling strips right here. I wanted to repeat this adorable little Mickey topiary. Build off of this up here. And that is basically it. I need to build this up with some dimension. I had mentioned in the earlier part of the video that I forgot to print and cut one of those, so that'd be next. And then somehow, I guess I would need to get an X-Acto knife. Well, you know what? If I'm going to build this up, then this can layer on top of that with foam, and then this will pop up, and that'll be dimension there, and this will be dimension. And I can take this little turquoise or aqua star and pop that up with dimension, and then my little Mickey would go on top of that, so that would be dimension. And I feel like this little card serves as my title. I'm not going to do another title. I feel like there's a lot or enough going on, and I like it. So I've got 3 Mickeys. I don't have any purple here. I'm not, you know, purple's not really my jam. That's cute. I've got 5 stars, 6 here. So when I print another one of this, I might grab another couple stars. But like I said in the really long video recording of the silhouette design, that's when you're doing your heavy lifting. And the reason why, for me, the reason why you do that is so that you print this stuff at the right size. You don't want, in my opinion, you don't want to get it missized and then have to redo it. I'm just moving that to separate the purple. It'd be nice if there were some pink stars. I'll have to see if there are. So I'm going to pause the video. I'm going to go print another one of these and maybe some more stars. I had thought about popping that up, but well, you know what? I could also pop that up because this is going to be hidden. So I might do another bucket. It's fun because you can do whatever you want. Got printer, it's your fairy godmother. So I printed off, I found some orange stars and I found the butterflies. I guess I didn't look very well the first time. So I have reprinted this and this and this to pop those up on foam for some dimension here. And I've got my second Spaceship Earth. There, it's right there. And I've got, I added a yellow butterfly and an orange star here, added an orange star here, and a pink butterfly. And I think that I'm ready to start popping things up and taping things down. I am considering a little bit of blue cardstock in this color so that all of these papers would pop. And I'll have to check my cardstock stash and see if I have a good color. Okay, so I found this piece of blue cardstock. I don't have any idea what the color is. I don't think the color's on the back of it. And I have trimmed my blue cardstock to 11.5, which should give me a 1/8 margin around the whole piece of cardstock. And so I'm working with my acrylic corners, and I'm going to use it to piece my papers together. It's okay that this is uneven because this is going to come in on top of it. So because I came in on the stripe and the blue, then these pieces are actually shorter. I don't think I've ever shared, or maybe I have shared before, that I did the boys' School of Life albums in digital templates from, I think, Kathy Zilski. And there was a point in time when I considered converting to digital. I may have shared this, and my oldest son said, "No, Mom, don't. You know, I like, you know, touching the pages." So I thought that was sweet, or you know, maybe interesting. To make sure my pink stripe was the right length, I taped it down onto this and then just turned it over and trimmed it. And now this last piece of paper is going to go on. I'll tell you what, this presentation paper doesn't play. It doesn't have any give to it like normal coated inked paper, because the ink is just sitting, you know, like on top of it. And so if you have to adjust something, buyer beware. Now we can go to this. So I have my smaller piece sitting on top of my larger, and the difference is 1/2 inch, so that'll be a 1/4 margin around each side. I had wanted to do a thicker 3/8, but then when I decided to put this blue there, it took up the difference. Have you ever done digital pages? When I did the Boys School of Life collage pages, they were printed all flat. It was just a digital template. I didn't embellish it like this. And it's down. So the only way to do this is to start all over again. And I've got one piece of adhesive behind my photos to keep them kind of still. I'm going to start building around them and under them. And as I need to go under them, I can. I've got 1/4 inch strip of foam tape on this, so it gets a little bit of a bump. And I'm not going to lie, I've got my prior clip up on my desktop, and I'm looking at it for placement. So I don't know if you ever do that, if you ever snap a picture of your work and then you can reference that. I think it's really helpful in a situation like this when you basically deconstruct your whole page. Now this guy I want up on foam completely, and we're just gonna lay it down as we go, at least on the big pieces for sure. This might be a little tedious. If this goes too long, I may edit some of it out. Now before I adhere this, I'm going to come in and put some tape runner on this corner. And the whole thing is kind of loosely glued, so as I finish, I may need to put some liquid glue here and there. I don't know if I said, but I went ahead and matted those, obviously. Okay, so I'm just going to go right here. At this point, it's just a lot of finesse. And I think I had this here and this here. And I like that, so I'm going to put a foam square down right onto the paper because I don't want foam on foam. So I'm just going to put my foam square right there, and it's going to go just like that. And then this little guy, I think I'll have it coming maybe right there, and I'll put foam on the one side. Maybe it'll look like his little wing. Put a little liquid glue on the flat side. Where did I say? Right there? I think I'm going to move it down to right there. In this corner, I also have this bucket. So I'll do foam on this side because it's going to sit on that foam. So it's just all a puzzle. And this is the part where you should just take it slow and enjoy it because it's the culmination of all of your planning. Putting a little liquid adhesive on parts of it. And like I said, at the end, if something is flapping up or not supported, you can come back in. I'm going to scoot that over. Well, I'm going to scoot it up because I want you to be able to see Garden Passport. That's cute. Now, I've got this little tiniest Mickey topiary. We're going to put a small foam square behind it. And it's going to go at the juncture of that and that. And you can still, I'm going to pop it down just a little. I want to read that Garden Passport word. And then I have some stars. I'm going to save my stars to last because when I had them on earlier, I honestly just kind of threw them down. Now let's talk about this. I'm going to pop, I'm missing a Mickey. I'm not missing one. I had the wrong one. This little tiny one goes onto the title, right? I don't think you can see it. And so this down here should have been the medium size, just like that. And that finishes off this corner except for some stars. Now, let's go to this. So the first thing we can put down is the watering can. This is 1 millimeter thick foam. And when I need a small piece, a thin piece, I just cut it. I have a little aqua star that's going to go right there. So let me know if you've tried hybrid. We talked about if you'd gone straight to do something straight digital or if you have an interest in it. So there's that. Now I've got to get my purple star down. It's going to go right here. I'm going to be okay if the Spaceship Earth is one foam level higher than everything else, and I kind of think it should be. So I'm putting the foam all over this star so that it comes up and pops completely, and then we'll deal with the layers we need to put behind Spaceship Earth. So on the presentation paper, it has a little difference in the sides. Like one side is a brighter white and one is yellow. So if you're new to it and you go to print, make sure you're printing on the brightest side, and usually you can tell that by just kind of folding it over or comparing it to the sheet behind it. I've never printed on the wrong side, but I'll tell you, I double check it every time. This one got a little bent, so I'm gonna put that to where it's going to be covered. I mean, it just doesn't pop up if you need it to, like traditional paper. Look how it's coming to life. So what I'll need to do here is put foam here, here, and here, and then foam on this. And then I'm going to put the Mickey down after I've taped it all down because he'll be a little unsupported. Y'all, I have a funny story to tell you. We have a lot of Disney coffee cups in the house, and we have a little coffee cup tree. And every morning, you know, Mom comes downstairs and she goes to get her coffee. Well, Friday she is in there talking, and I'm concerned because I'm like, okay, she's really going over the deep end. And I go in and I say, Mom, who are you talking to? Are you talking? She goes, yeah. She goes, I'm talking to Mickey. She was holding a coffee cup with Mickey on it. She goes, we have a relationship. And I thought it was so funny. Okay, so that layer of foam is going to elevate it to the level of the star. And now if I want it to stand up off the star, I'm going to go one more. And I have this 1-inch roll that I use sometimes for speed, you know, because I got to be fast when I can. It doesn't seem to me to actually be very slow, but I'm not watching, I'm doing it and I'm having fun. So if this is kind of like watching paint dry, I'm sorry. I think a lot about, I was cutting paper yesterday, I think, And I thought about, I loved kindergarten. I loved all the little artsy stuff. And I thought, you know, how lucky am I that I still get to cut things with scissors and play. That's really kind of the greatest thing. I'm going a little overkill at the bottom because I don't want it to collapse. But there's something that's just really satisfying to me about taking a pair of scissors and just going to town cutting something. And I was watching a video, and what other creators on YouTube can do free-handed with scissors, I marvel at. Like, I can fussy cut, but I saw a girl, I'm sorry, I couldn't tell you who, but she just cut a map for a photo completely freehand. I'm like, oh, no, I couldn't do that. Look at that. It's so cute. And I'm going to have to put the whole thing up on foam because it just can't go flat. Not now. We didn't get this far to let it lose all of its oomph. Okay, so I'll put one square there. This is ready to go down. Oh, I need to secure these photos up here first. I had this. Spaceship Earth is going to be crooked. I think that the bucket is kind of the straight point. Oh yeah. Okay, so then here's my little Mickey that we're going to put right in there. And I do think it's good to vary the heights of it all and let it look like it's really layered. So we're going to go just like that. So cute. So cute. And then I had this flower garden up here somewhere. I don't want, the photo is crooked, but I want this straight. So I think if I come up a little there. And then I had this yellow butterfly up there for some repetition in yellow, and this color and the littlest orange, I think. So I'm just placing those there. Let me get the ones that I had slotted for down here. This one and this one and a little purple one go down there. And I do need to get my journaling done. Okay, so now we have this. Oh, we've got to do this. We've got to do this. I'm going to put some foam under this so it'll pop up a little bit like that. Well, my 1/4 and my 1/4 will fit, which is perfect. And you know, in my Q&A video, I shared that if I go to get the last one out, man, I start building a cart because I would, there's so many things you just can't get in your neighborhood, you know, and I'm going to trim this just to make it easier to go underneath. And so I don't ever want to not be able to do anything because I don't have the basics. I think that's part of being a good Girl Scout. Okay, so this, excuse my arm, I think this was right about there. And then this was kind of on top of it, and it needs good foam. So I'm going to put foam all over the back of this one so it'll have a good pop. I have this going over the photo a little bit, and then this little floral cluster is going to come on top of it. I'm wondering about stitching, and I'm not going to stitch. There's a lot of pattern already, and I'm doing plenty of texture, so I don't see this as a candidate at all for stitching. I'm going to come right here, kind of in the dead spot of the elements on the photo. So that's one of the magic shot for the Flower and Garden Festival. They put the flowers floating around, which was cute. And I think this is set to go there. Okay, and so on this right here, we're going to pop up, well, I don't know what you call that. And that's going to be hard to pop up. And this, and then somewhere I have another pink butterfly right there. So we can start with the butterfly. That'll be the easiest. I think actually this is that size butterfly. I remember I made them slightly larger, so this one will come over here. That's just a kind of a standard trick, is, you know, you drag and drop and resize so you get a little variation. If you think about a manufacturer's sticker sheet, and if they have repetitive icons, they do it in a different size so you get the variety. So on these, I'm going to put my foam straight onto the backer sheet, and Well, it's not a backer sheet, but it kind of is. And I cut these too. It'll be easier to lay it down to that than vice versa. So you get a little bit of dimension on that. I thought about that and I thought, nah, don't need to. I need to move the butterfly up a little. This speed of this kind of reminds me of the first process video I did, Crafty Girl. But the problem on that, and even on the second one, our favorite date night, was that I was so stymied on decisions, and so it's hard, it's painful to go back and watch that. So this is not, I'm not sitting here waffling, moving 14 things around. So that's good. Let me tape this down before I forget. And oh, we have this little yellow sentiment strip that says "Color Me Happy." So my husband loves Epcot all the time, and I'm wondering, do you like to go to Epcot when you go to Disney? Let's see. I had the leaves kind of hugging that leaf. That's pretty cute. I mean, obviously, I picked it because I liked it, so sorry if I sound like I'm flattering myself. I didn't design these little elements. I just got to pick them. And on this one, I'm going to go up a little, but I'm going to go straight. So I'm going to have to do journaling that's going to fit the space. That's why I didn't put the stars down. And I'm going to use white strips on foam. And so I'll bring my die in and I'll kind of count out. I could do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I could even do 6 and be okay. And I can do full length ones. But I want to stagger them so when I type, I'm not going to have them end at the same spot. And 6 lines should let me say what I want to say. So I'm going to work on my journaling. Here's my journaling, and I've shared many times that Nicole at Coley Bing has a Google Doc, and it is formatted to work with this sentiment die. So now I'm going to run this through my Anna Griffin Impress, and I'll get strips. It is kind of long. I'm hoping I can tighten it up and condense it, but I said what I wanted to say, and we'll see. I may have to cut some of it out. We'll see. And here it is, all perfect and straight. These are the headers that will be garbage. And I'll trim the edges up and put the foam tape on the back. I use a different foam tape. This is 1/8 inch by 2 millimeter, and I get this from scrapbook.com. So, okay, so I've got some work to do, and I'm probably just going to put it down. There's no point in going through the motion twice. Okay, another fun time was had by all. If I don't have any idea how long this video is going to be, and sometimes when they're really long I feel terrible, but hopefully there are some tips and tricks in this to help you. And here's the layout, and my journaling did run a little bit long. I couldn't think of what I would omit, and so, you know, just chalk it up to a design faux pas, and we'll move on to the next layout. And I do need to put some glue down here and there so everything is stable, but I'm really happy with it. It was a ton of fun to plan and put together from my end. The takeaway on this is, next time, do your journaling in advance. So I've got, you know, room up there. I could have moved my photos up to the top. This presentation paper, once you put something down, it's not coming up. And so if I had thought, you know, I didn't want to cover our feet, and so I made the choice to come down onto the stripe instead of covering our feet. And, you know, what they say, hindsight's 20/20. But I'm happy with all the elements, and I added a purple star up here. I think it's kind of the chef's kiss. That gives me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stars up here. I've got 1, 2, 3 here, and 1, 2, 3 here. So this is kind of a cluster and this is one, and then that's all the title element. And I feel like the design works. I feel like it honors the original sketch, and most importantly, it's a fun, bright page that I enjoyed making and that tells an important story to us. So I hope that you had some fun scrapbooking along with me, and let me know if you've ever been to the Flower and Garden Festival. I can't recall how many topiaries they have, but they're all just beautiful, and it's just my favorite time. So I wanted to say too, just real quickly, if you're a subscriber, thanks. If you're not, I'm inching toward 1,000, and just over half of my viewers are subscribers, which means almost half of my viewers are not. And so if you'd be inclined to hit that subscribe button, I'd appreciate it. It'll help me get to the control point of stopping mid-roll ads. And I think that would be something we would all enjoy. So anyway, thanks for scrapbooking along with me. Thanks for being here where paper meets story. This is truly an example of that. Custom paper for a beautiful 20-year story. And as always, thanks for hanging out with me.
So I finished this layout up last night, went up to bed, and you know, I always kind of mull things over after I finish them. I felt really good about where I left the layout, but I kind of just was noodling on the idea of a title. And so I came down this morning and I did a 20 out of the alpha set that goes with this mini kit. And I didn't do an offset on it because I was trying to make it look like I had just cut it with a Cameo, and you know, those don't have wide offsets, and make it more like a title than a die cut with a margin. And so I cut one in green, and then I cut 3 in white and built it up. And then I am a perfectionist, and so I did, you know, this wasn't laying right, so I did peel this up carefully and put a second layer of foam, and now it's laying on top of the little garden rake. I don't know. I didn't look it up. I don't know the name of it. That's what I'm calling it, though. So here's my take on the flowers, on flowers in general. I'm a boy mom, and I'm wired that way. And I didn't want the flowers to be the focus of this layout because you don't, there are beautiful flowers out at Epcot during this festival, but they're not in these photos. So I kind of chose to bring up the other elements instead of the flowers. The flowers can have their day on another page. But I did feel like the flowers fell a little flat. So I went to my go-to embellishment, the little Pinkfresh dewdrops, and this is in clear ice. I will say, if you go to use these and you put the liquid glue down, at first it looks like they're not clear, but then your glue dries clear and they do work. So I did 1, 2, 3 up here. I chose to put one right there. And then on this floral piece of paper, I did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I brought one into play down here so that your eye comes down the whole page. And then I did 3 right here. And I like the look of them. I really do. So because they're clear, the color underneath shows through like that. In real life, this looks blue and this looks yellow. I don't know how it's looking on camera. But at any rate, now I think I can say that this layout is done. I'm still regretting this. And while I was thinking about all this, I thought, you know, I should have done my standard trick of starting at the edge where I wanted to end and worked my way up. And then if I had done that, I would have seen that I would have to go over the feet or try and move the pictures up. But, you know, the real takeaway is, well, and then I also thought I should have done a journal box. And so I was just dead set on doing journal strips. And so this will be probably the most journal strips you'll ever see from me, because kind of my rule of thumb is 6 to 8. And then it's time maybe to go to a journal box. So this is the final outtake on this layout, and I'm ready to move on to the next project. The desk is cleaned up, ready to rock and roll, and I just wanted to film this and show you the final update. I do like the little title, and I feel like my work here is done. So one more time, as always, thanks for hanging out with me. Thanks so much for hanging out with me today. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, leave a comment, and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss a thing. I'll be back soon with more layouts, videos, and a little stash busted magic. So please come back and crop with me. Until next time, happy scrapping, and remember, this is where paper meets story. Bye-bye.